Chili Butts, we back. Let's get it. My bad. I know y'all came here to see Larry Bird. Don't let me hold y'all up.
Larry Bird's competitive spirit helped turn him into an NBA legend, but one tragic night at a Boston bar, his competitiveness got the best of him, because that night, Larry Bird made such a disastrous mistake that it ended up costing the Boston Celtics a championship. This is the story of just how much better Larry Bird was than the competition, and how the only thing that could stop Larry Bird was Larry Bird himself. Because in the 1984-85 season, Bird and the Celtics were set to defend their title after beating the Los Angeles Lakers in a 7-game series the year before. And it was clear from the very beginning that the teams were due for a rematch.
Well, no question. You know, we were the favorites and we made our way. They won the East, we won the West. So it's like everybody just get ready, sit back, and let's enjoy it.
You know, this is it, first week of June. And it always happens to be Boston Celtics and LA Laker time.
But before their inevitable rematch, the Celtics had to get through their Eastern Conference rival, the Philadelphia 76ers. And after the Celtics easily won the first 2 games, Larry Bird and some of his teammates celebrated at a local bar in Boston. However, this celebration turned into a disaster, because that night, Larry Bird got into an argument with the bouncer, who was a former offensive lineman in college named Mike Harlow. This argument escalated into a shouting match that spilled out into the streets and caused Larry Bird to punch Mike in the face.
If y'all know who Mike Harlow is, drop something in the comments. I'm curious to see if y'all know who that is. Y'all been on my case about me not knowing who people are. I don't know who Mike Harlow is neither, so we all in the same boat. Maybe. You drop some in the comments and say, oh, I was around the time, I grew up around the time Mark Harlow was a good offensive lineman for some sort of NFL team or something, maybe a college team, but apparently he was a somebody. But let's get it.
An eyewitness said, I don't know what happened inside, but there was a noise and a scuffle as they came across the street. Then Larry Bird went boom, a nice swoop over the top with his right hand to the left side of his face. This altercation ended in a lawsuit, and Larry Bird agreed to a settlement. But little did the Boston faithful know that the events that transpired that night would have major implications for the Celtics the rest of the playoffs. Because unfortunately, Larry Bird injured his shooting hand during this incident, and it was noticeably swollen for the rest of the playoffs.
Bird made a great play. He knew he was going to get clobbered. He's got a swollen finger that he got. Look at that index finger on his right hand. You wouldn't believe a guy with a finger like that can shoot that well from the outside. He can hardly bend it.
And when Larry Bird came out the next day for practice with his hand heavily taped, a reporter named Dan Shaughnessy doubtfully asked if Larry Bird was going to be able to shoot with his hand wrapped like that. Bird told Dan Shaughnessy that he could tape up his entire shooting hand and still outshoot the reporter with his offhand. So Larry Bird had the trainer tape his entire right hand into a fist and challenged the reporter to a shooting competition. 100 free throws at $5 per shot, and Bird could only use his left hand. The reporter made 54 out of 100 free throws, but Larry Bird, with his shooting hand taped into a fist, made 86 out of 100 free throws left-handed. The reporter owed Larry $160 that he paid in cash the next day before the Sixers game, and Larry Bird, like a cruel older brother, took the money and played the entire game with those 8 $20 bills stashed in his sock. Savage.
Real savage.
Larry Bird was literally in a class of his own when it came to shooting the basketball, because Larry Bird was the first player in NBA history to average at least 50% from the field, 40% from the three-point line, and 90% from the free throw line, becoming the very first member of the 50-40-90 club. But not only was he the founding father of the 50-40-90 club, but he did it multiple times while averaging 28.1 points per game and 29.9 points per game. In fact, until Kevin Durant finally did it in 2023, Larry Bird, for 35 years, was the only player ever to have multiple 50, 40, 90 seasons while averaging at least 20 points per game.
Shout out to KD.
Larry Bird was truly ahead of his time.
Definitely.
And in a class all by himself.
All by himself.
Unfortunately, after Larry Bird injured his hand in that bar fight, he was forced to play the rest of those 1985 playoffs with a mangled shooting hand.
Only he knows the effect of his injured elbow and finger and ankle and what have you. He never uses it as an excuse, but so far he has not shot well from the field and has not been a factor.
I think Dr. J may be playing him, forcing him to go to his right hand a little bit more than Larry was in the prior games. He's playing on his hand and jabs at it, and he wanted a foul. He didn't get it, Larry Bird. Too bad.
And when the Celtics team doctor examined him, the doctor said Larry had been in some kind of altercation. I examined Larry's hand and it was swollen to double the size of his regular hand. And the condition of Larry's finger is such that he cannot make a fist on his own. And when asked about it, Larry said, "It hurts, but I can't use it as an excuse. It's just another thing you have to accept." In fact, Larry Bird tried to downplay his injuries so much that the story of the bar fight that injured his shooting hand didn't even come out until the following season. And when the story broke, Larry Bird was not happy about it at all.
And, you know, Larry, when I wrote about Larry's barroom fight at Chelsea's, which was hurt the 85 playoff push, you know, Larry didn't talk to me for 4 or 5 months after that. I knew that was going to happen. I understood that, but it was too bad, you know, and he eventually, I think, got over it. He knew he made a mistake there. We all make mistakes. It's okay. But there was no way you could cover it up or pretend it didn't happen, because it affected the fans. It affected how he shot, possibly, and whether they won the championship or not in 85. So that was the story. But, you know, if a guy's just having 1,000 beers or something, it's not affecting his play, you don't need to write that or get into his business. When it gets into the fans' business, then we do.
Although the Celtics took care of business and beat the 76ers in 5 games, Larry Bird struggled immensely shooting the ball those last 2 games.
Bird, top of the key. Bird is 3 for 11. This is his worst shooting game of the series.
Because he went from averaging 28.7 points per game to 15.5 points per game, and from 52% shooting from the field to 30% shooting from the field. So is this a coincidence? I think not. Because in the finals versus the Lakers, Larry continued to struggle.
Larry Bird with his first shot. Bird came back. He's been hampered by a variety of injuries. Bird with a runner. 10-2 run right now for LA. And Larry Bird misses. Stop. Pulls up against Haynes. And it's now 12-2. Casey Jones is going to call a 22nd timeout. The crowd is indeed out of the ball game at this point.
While Larry might not use it as an excuse, I will. His shooting numbers were down significantly, which is the only reason that the Lakers won the 1985 title in 6 games, preventing the Celtics from going back-to-back.
Bird, 70-53, Bird, missing. They're all trying for 3-point shots. Bird, misses.
That's got to be the ultimate thrill for the Lakers.
Kareem hits again with a sky hook.
That boy Kareem just did a hook shot basically at the 3-point line. Jeez. But no, hey, man, I seen something that I thought was kind of funny. That boy Kevin McHale had some broad shoulders, man. That boy's shoulders were shaped like a real box. Man, but yeah, Bird, man, that situation with Bird is crazy, though, man. So that's the reason why he didn't win back-to-back. That's tough. He got into a little scuffle. That's what it sounds like when somebody fighting. Or you hear the sheet. And it messed up his playoff run, man. That's tough, though. Still got the back-to-back 50, 40, 90, though. Thanks to y'all let me know what that means.
The Lakers are less than a minute away.
Unusual sight. Celtics losing a championship at home. Never happened before.
Larry Bird's going out of the ball game. Only he knows how much he's been hurt and how it's affected him.
And you know the first thing will be out of his mouth in the locker room to the press? I played terrible. No alibi.
Never use the injuries as an excuse. The Lakers are winning it. 3 in 6 years. LA comes to Boston and wins the world title.
You know, I was the only guy that wrote about Larry getting into that barroom fight in the '85 finals when you guys lost. And I really felt that was newsworthy because he didn't shoot well after that. And the Celtics didn't win the playoffs that year. And they had a really good team, as you know. Their team was stacked.
Coach, how badly injured is Larry Bird? Is there an excuse there?
Oh, that's no excuse, no. If he's out there in uniform and he's playing, then that's that comes with the territory.
I guess Larry should have shot the ball with his left hand like he did against that reporter. Which brings me to that very next season, because if you actually believe that the Lakers would have still won the title in 1985 if Larry Bird were healthy, then look no further than 1986. When the Celtics brought back the exact same starting five.
Shout out to Dennis Johnson, Kevin McHale with the broad box shoulders, the boy Larry Legend, Split Cat, Robert Parrish, because he always just down in the paint catching something, throwing him up, and Danny Ainge, man, come on, man, sharp shooting Danny Ainge, man. Shout out to them, 1985-86 Lakers, man. Shout out to them, man. They definitely top ranked when it comes to a starting five. I think the only few teams other than them is probably like Golden State, Bad Boy Pistons, the Lakers when they had Shaq on the team, Metal World Peace. I mean, that's probably it. You feel me? You got them too. So, yeah, man. And shout out to them, though. Real GOATs. Everybody I just named is a real GOAT.
Because after Larry's hand was healed, he and the Boston Celtics wanted their revenge and dedicated the entire season to dethroning the Lakers. And that year, the 1986 Celtics steamrolled the entire league and finished with the regular season home record of 40-1, which still stands as the greatest regular season home record of all time. And including the playoffs, Larry Bird led that Boston Celtics team to a home record of 50-1, dethroning the Lakers as NBA champions, just like Larry Bird envisioned. In the very last game of those NBA finals, Larry Bird had what he called the best game he ever played. But when you're so much better than the competition, you have to find little ways to motivate yourself. Kind of like another familiar NBA legend.
Each time that you win, it takes away a little bit of that hunger, which is a challenge within itself. It's a battle within your mind to find a challenge to go to that same place that you've been 5 times before. And that's hard. A lot of times I had to battle with myself to keep challenging myself. That to me was why I would say that the biggest battle was myself, because when you get to a certain pinnacle, you got to find some ways to keep going out there for 82 games.
And after a regular season game in 1993, Michael Jordan took one innocent comment from an opposing rookie who had a good game against him and turned it into the LaBradford Smith story.
In Chicago, LaBradford Smith scores 37 points against Michael Jordan. He said that.
Who is LaBradford Smith? You be back at it. I need y'all to drop in the comments who LaBradford Smith is. I've never heard of this guy. Like, when I'm talking about never heard of this guy, I've never heard of him. Like, this guy has never been spoken of until just now. So drop in the comments who is LaBradford Smith, what you know about LaBradford Smith, because I want to know. Because I might have to do a video on it. Hey, and to my guy in the comments that always comment, I'm still going to do the video I told you I was going to do. I got it saved in my watch list. It's going to be the next video I drop. Y'all know y'all love these Prime Larry Bird videos, so I got to come back with these and drop them back to back. He's talking about thinking of Larry Bird, thinking of basketball or something like that with Larry Bird, and talking about how he made those trick shots, whatever the shots he made. We're going to get to that. But right now, I need y'all to let me know who LaBradford Smith is. Silhouette, let's get it.
Smith walking out of the gym had said, "Nice game, Mike."
Ooh.
And you knew that this wasn't going to go down well.
The next night, they play in Washington.
We played him on a back-to-back. I never forget it. So we're flying to Washington. He said, tomorrow in the first half, I'm going to have what this kid had in the game. I've never seen a man go after another player the way he did.
Jordan backing LeBradford Smith. Michael takes it on the turnaround.
Oh!
The lead for Will Perdue runs out of room, finds Jordan.
Oh, showtime! Woo! Bradford Smith, you embarrassed a man at home last night.
Jordan, 8 of 8 from the field. Jordan.
Michael Jordan had 36 points in the first half and was winning by so much that he didn't even play the fourth quarter. All because some rookie named LeBradford Smith said, "Nice game, Mike." And just like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird took an uneventful regular season road game and turned it into one of the most iconic games in NBA history.
Larry was well known for predicting what he was going to do on the road trips. They asked Larry, well, so Larry, you come to the end of the road trip. Well, what do you got in store? You've achieved all your milestones. He said, I'm going to play this game left-handed. And they said, yeah, right. He said, no, I'm going to play left-handed. And if the game's in doubt in the fourth quarter, I'll switch back to right-handed. But he played the entire game left-handed. And he had a triple.
Left-hand bandit.
Paratrooper
hey,
2 points for Bird.
That was a great shot.
I mean, made it look easy. He shot that with the left hand, floating underhander, and made it look simple. Down at the corner. Larry Bird with that left hand again, and that's what makes him so tough. The fact that he has the ability to use both hands in close to the basket, something all young basketball players should strive to do. Perfect both hands in close.
On Valentine's Day in 1986, without his second best player, Kevin McHale, Larry Bird disrespected an entire team by playing the game left-handed. And at the end of 3 quarters, Larry Bird had 27 points, almost entirely left-handed. Wow. He was literally toying with the entire league. And that same reporter that Larry Bird beat in the shooting competition using only his left hand wrote an article in the Boston Globe titled, "Just Call Him Lefty Bird,"
Lefty Bird.
where Larry Bird said, "I'm saving my right hand for the Lakers." On paper, it was the Boston Celtics versus the Portland Trailblazers, but in actuality, it was Larry Bird versus Larry Bird, because that's the closest thing to competition that the NBA had for him that year.
Larry Bird from Johnson, excellent pass, and another 2 points with the left hand to Larry Bird if you're counting. He's got 31, still 4-10 remaining here in the third quarter.
But here's how this legendary game was even more impressive than the legend itself. Because in the fourth quarter, it was a very close game, and over the span of 5 possessions, Bird made 3 consecutive insane left-handed shots. Most NBA players would never even dream of trying a left-handed floater in transition. But Bird casually faked one defender, avoided another, and lobbed a shot off the glass to put the Celtics up by 6.
Larry Bird in the left hand again. 35 for Larry. And he has a triple-double. He's got 11 rebounds and 10 assists.
Don't forget, he said if the game was close, he was going to switch back to his right hand. He never did it. That's how confident the man was.
And after a Blazers 3 cut the lead in half, Larry was still using his left hand and buried a hook shot that no other player has ever mastered other than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And he did it left-handed.
For Bird.
Hey!
Another left-hander by Larry Bird.
Larry Bird's mixture of skill, creativity, and flat-out arrogance to pull off a sweeping left-handed hook shot during a close game in the fourth quarter has to be top 5 most savage moments of Larry Bird's career.
But what was crazy was fourth quarter close game, and all of a sudden he breaks out the most insanely batshit nuts left-handed shots in the world. Throwing left-handed floaters off the glass in transition from like 12 feet. And then the very next play just throws in a sweeping lefty hook from like 10 feet. And then 2 possessions later has a sweeping lefty and 1 hook. And it's like, okay, like you never see any offhand shots like that. And he did 3 in a row while they were holding off a charge.
Don't forget, that's Clyde Drexler that's guarding. Y'all know Clyde Drexler can really jump his butt out the gym. I'm just saying, to be honest here, man. And that man, Larry Bird, had did all of that whole game with his left hand, just to send a statement out to himself. We need some competition out here. That's what he basically was saying to himself.
So Larry was a cold-blooded man. And you didn't need me to tell you that.
And with under 1 minute to go, the game was tied up, and Larry Bird decided that he should go back to his right hand and put the Portland Trail Blazers out of their misery. But as Larry went for the kill, a bizarre no call puts the Celtics in deep trouble.
Bird in a great move. No foul, no goaltending. 3-on-2 for Portland. Drexler, Vandeweghe. Timeout, Boston. They can't believe it. Ames going over to the official saying he hung on the rim, and he's right. It should have been goaltending, Bill. Let's take a look at it. Let's see if Bird gets hit. There's the hanging on the rim on the shot by Bowie. That was goaltending with the ball up there. Portland now with a 2-point lead in 41 seconds.
And down by 2, Larry Bird puts the team on his back.
Drexler. Percy had it, but Bird comes down with the big rebound.
Come here.
Larry Bird. We're tied with 6 seconds left. Timeout. Portland.
Well, he said he was going to go back to that right
Bird
hand.
with 43 points.
This game-tying shot sent the game into overtime, and in overtime, with the Celtics down by 1, with 17 seconds on the clock, and Larry Bird's historical performance on the line, Larry Bird does exactly what he's been known to do over and over and over again in the clutch.
Game clock, top of your screen. Larry Bird with 3 seconds left. Timeout for Portland. 47 points for Larry Bird. The Boston Celtics, as they usually do, have prevailed here in overtime from Portland. Our player of the game, our Light Beer and Turner Broadcasting most valuable player, is Larry Bird with 47 points on 62% shooting, 14 rebounds, 11 assists. He had 1 steal and 1 block. Another triple-double for Larry Bird, his second consecutive one.
He had a triple-double, scored 47 points, and about 35 of those points, at least, was with his left hand. He was toying with them the whole game. So that game probably even wouldn't have been that intense and went that far into overtime and that close if he had just used his right hand the whole time. What y'all think? Am I right? Or am I right? Because I know I ain't wrong. But it's your boy DtaeNoDinero. I know y'all love these Larry Bird videos so much. That's why I keep coming back with them. You see what I'm saying? Man, shout out to the GOATs, man. Especially Larry Bird. Man, I'm telling you, man. The man is goated. Straight up. I don't hear about nobody else doing things like this ever. I mean, if they got a Michael Jordan story out here where he just said, I'm about to just shoot all left-hand shots, I want to hear it. Magic Johnson, I want to hear it. Kobe, I want to hear it. Brian, I want to hear it. But we talking about Larry Bird here. Or Lefty Birdie. It's your boy DtaeNoDinero. We out. Let's get it. See you later.